Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be showing you all how to make a slow cooker pot roast. If that sounds like something that you're interested in, stay tuned. This recipe is great for moms, people that are busy on the go, college students. I will be using my good old crock pot. Shout out to Latrice Kelly. She inspired me to start using my crock pot. Check out her channel. She always cooks and does other things, so check her out. But yes, my husband will be searing the roast on the stove with the cast iron skillet. If you don't have time to sear it, y'all can skip that step and put it straight in your slow roaster, but you are going to have to cook it for 7 to 8 hours, if not longer. Some people like theirs really, really tender. Stay tuned to see how we make it happen. Hey y'all, so the rest of this video is going to be a voiceover with me and Des. I'm just showing y'all what y'all need. And I have Des here. Say hey, Des.
Hey y'all.
To clarify on the parts that he helped with, because he did a lot of the stuff. So here, Des and I were just cutting vegetables. He did the majority of this, but we started with some onion. We had some celery. And then we had some small peppers of different colors. I just feel like those give it a lot of flavor. And I am grabbing the potatoes so that I can get ready to peel them. Because I find that when you rinse them off first and then try to peel it, it's harder to peel the skin off. So you see me with my disposable grocery bag and I'm just peeling away. Des is over there chopping up the vegetables. And I mean, yeah, maybe I should have sped this clip up a little faster. But we're trying to just give you an idea of how to do it. You know, you want to try to get any pieces out of your potatoes that might have the little roots. Use the other edge of the peeler for it. You see me doing that on some of the pieces of the potatoes. This was literally the last 4 potatoes in a 5-pound bag from the store. So a roast is a really good recipe for getting rid of the veggies that may be going bad soon. And you can just toss everything in. It gives it a nice flavor. Same thing with those colorful peppers. These were like the last peppers in the bag. So we put those in. You don't have to follow this exactly, but I would recommend trying to use at least onion, bell pepper, potatoes, and carrots for flavor. That onion and bell pepper will definitely give your roast a lot of flavor. So if you don't have colorful peppers, then it's okay, but definitely try to use that onion and bell pepper to add flavor to your meat, especially if you're only going to be using salt and pepper. He's just showing you all what was on the cutting board, and Desmond is quartering those potatoes. You usually get about 8 cubes out of each small potato, cuts them in half, and then he just chops those into pieces. And there is a little bit of brown left on there, but for the most part, we peeled it to the T. So you're just seeing him chop the potatoes here. And that's the finished result of the veggies, and it's ready to go into the pot. Here he is just putting those baby carrots into the colander so that we can rinse them off with some water and get rid of that liquid that was in the carrot bag and let it drain into the sink. Now he's getting ready to open up the meat, and I'm going to let him talk here so that he can explain the process of what he did and why.
When you are getting ready to cook your roast, you want to make sure you open that bag. As you can see, I was having an issue with that. You want to make sure you pour off all the excess liquid that came in the bag. That's not really going to do you any good from my experience. You want to take just some regular cold water, run it over your roast just to get off any excess liquid that you have. And you want to make sure you're very liberal. It's very easy to miss those. Once you get done, you want to take some paper towel and pat it dry. You want to do that just to make sure any other liquid that you may not want on there, that's gone. You also want to be able to do that just because it's a little bit easier in my experience to make whatever you're seasoning your steak with stick. We use kosher salt and season liberally. And we season on each side. You don't just eat one side of your roast. So you want to make sure you season all sides of your roast if you're planning on eating all parts of it. So you want to use your salt, like I said, season liberally. And then you want to use your pepper. This is pure ground black pepper. It's just regular Kroger brand. And it's just very simple. You just want to use salt and pepper. You don't really have to do much to the meat because, as you'll see later on, we're going to add more seasonings to it. It's always easier to add more salt or add more pepper than to try to take it away by adding some other seasoning to cut it.
So here he cut the stove on high, and he has the cast iron skillet warming up with some butter. And I think that was was it non-salted butter?
It's salted butter.
Salted butter.
And it's half a tablespoon. And you just want to rub that around just to kind of get your pan greased. And that salted butter also helps to add a little bit of flavor to it. You want to make sure that your pan is screaming hot. And whatever one side that I didn't season was the side that was going to be face up in the pan, so I could season it liberally without everything coming off. You want to make sure you cook your steak and get a nice crust on each side. You'll see those like slightly dark brown marks. That's good. That's a good sign for you to be able to go ahead and turn your steak to the next side. And in this part of the video, you're going to see that we're going to do this for every single side of the steak. Every single side of the roast. Sorry. Just because, like I said, with the seasoning, you want to make sure every single side that you're going to eat is tended to. You want to be very good to your roast because you want it to taste very good after it's cooked for however many hours you choose to cook it.
And I want to note that this step is completely optional if you're in a hurry. You can definitely omit this step if you don't want it to have that sear on it, but I find that when you sear the roast, it just gives it a little bit more texture. Pull apart tender. It's going to be soft.
Very tender to the point to where you should be able to take 2 forks or at times 2 spoons, depending on how you cook it, and go ahead and shred it apart.
Yeah.
And this is just one of those things to where, like you said, it gives texture, it gives color. It looks very good. It tastes very good before you put it into the pot.
And here he just put it into the crock pot. And we started the heat on low. We are going to cook the meal on low the entire time. And here it's time to add stuff. So I had a little bit of beef broth left from the last time from Kroger. So I put the rest of that in my pot. You always, always, always want to put liquid in your crock pot dishes. You have to have liquid for success with any crock pot dish, whether it's a soup or pulled chicken, roast, anything. So I'm adding here some Lipton onion soup mix. You can use the store brand. I actually bought all these because it was way cheaper. They was taxing y'all. I'm going to add a little bit of minced garlic. I added my baby carrots. Desmond added all the vegetables that he chopped. And then I added the potatoes. Now at this point, I decided to go ahead and add a little bit more beef broth from Aldi because it was a lot going on in the pot. I added a little bit of parsley, garlic powder, salt, and pepper. Now, at this point, I would say make sure that you add a lot of seasoning. Don't be afraid that it's going to be too salty. You can start with a little bit of seasoning, and then you can, of course, taste it maybe about, I would say, 7 hours into it to see if it needs anything. That way, if you feel that it needs salt or anything, you can go ahead and add it while everything is still in the pot cooking. This is the final result. We plated it with some white rice and served it up, and it was really good, y'all. Thanks for watching.